up, everybody? I'm Sal and This is Reggie Steele. And welcome to Spitballin. Spitballin.
All right, well,
that's right, Reg. We just jumping right in it. What's up, everybody?
So.
I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Steele.
And welcome to Spitballin, everybody. All right. What's up, Sal?
Well, none. I had Reggie opened up this thing coming in hella late. Then he has this thing on mute, you guys, and he just makes me watch him eat breakfast silently. Like, you know what kind of crazy shit is that?
You know, it's funny. I love that every time we get on the podcast, the first thing you say is that I was late when I have been sitting here waiting for you.
See,
what happens is,
but you ain't ready. That's the thing. You're sitting here, but you're not ready. So that's still late.
No. I'm ready, but I'm waiting so long that I go, oh, I guess I can go do something. Maybe I should go do laundry because I've been sitting here for 5 hours waiting for this dude to come on.
So yeah, watching someone eat silently is kind of unappealing.
Yeah, man, I was sitting here and you were taking.
What was that?
Forever.
Coffee cake?
No, I don't know what it was. No, it was a little. Yeah, we'll just say that. That's good. Coffee cake.
No. What was it, dude? I want to know.
I don't know. It was a little pastry thing, like a little
from Starbucks.
No, I don't drink coffee. It's not from Starbucks. I don't know where it's from. So I just know that it was good.
There was this pop-up baker here in LA, and she used to like have her stuff delivered to this wine shop in Pasadena, and we check it out, and like good stuff like fresh breads, all kinds of desserts, whatever. Like I remember getting stuff before Thanksgiving, but now she delivers, and
to your door.
Well, it depends. Certain zip codes. So we went to a friend who was in the right zip code to get, because we never had the cinnamon rolls. And bro, they were so amazing, like just fresh. Like she just drops the stuff off, and it was some good ass stuff. The cinnamon rolls were amazing.
If you're gonna talk about it, you got to drop that name.
But then
get her some business.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, that's the whole point, right?
Like you, dude.
Yeah,
you just did, bro.
Just delicious. Just eat it. That's funny. Real quick, man. Did you? I listened to our podcast from last week with Kellen. It was fun doing it, but like going back and listening to it, man, it was really good. I apologize to everyone out there if my mic was a little hot. I kept listening to it. Every time I said something, I was like,
Reggie, fucking up the sound. We had a professional podcast once.
We still do. We back. But I was a little hot, so I apologize for my.
So I started putting the Kellen clip. So when you do these. When I put these podcasts up, I do them on the reels now because that gets you more views or listens.
Okay.
And
that's the REELZ.
No, S. There's no.
Oh,
Z.
it's real, so it's something different. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Instagram, and then Instagram. You sound old when I gotta explain it to you, but I needed it explained to me, so I can't really mock it. But that because when you put something up on Instagram, you just send it to your friends. But if you put it on reels, you send it to everyone. So
wow, okay,
way bigger audience that way.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. All right, so I'll start posting mine on reels.
People were digging that that Kellen one,
the introvert and the extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of extroverted people out there. So introverted.
And he was making some good points. What I like about Kellen is he was getting into the biology of it even too, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And which is funny, like with something we didn't touch on, which I'd love to have him back and talk about, is him being his religion. Is religious because he grew up Mormon. He could speak Portuguese because he was doing missionary work in Brazil. Like there's a whole nother level to Kellen, man. But Kellen, I told him this in the punchline. I was like, you're the coolest religious person I know.
Like all religious people, they should follow his lead. right?
Yeah,
'Cause
like he's really smart and he's open. And like when you hear Mormon and stuff, you get all like people think a whole thing, you know.
right,
And
right.
but Kellen, he didn't grow up in Utah or anything, grew up in the Bay in South Bay.
Yeah, yeah. He's really cool about it. It's like it's a part of his life, but he doesn't try to force it on
Yeah,
anybody,
he
and he
doesn't talk
doesn't.
about it ever though.
Yeah, yeah. And he doesn't try to hold you account. Like he doesn't try to hold you to some standard that he has based on his religion, right? Because you
Not
get
at
that a lot
all.
with
He's
people who.
very non-judgmental.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I would love to get into that too. Just
And
to,
he's cool, man. He's funny. And I mean, I always love ripping on people with it. Kellen's got that kind of side to him.
yeah, killing
Like
because
we've
he's.
done some road trips and then you get to like let it out and you're like, oh, all right, Kellen, I feel
Oh
you.
yeah, no, Kellen is sharp, man. But
He's
but it's
sharp.
funny. He's so sharp. He's so sharp, and he's quick, and he's smart. Um, but because of the introverted thing, there's a little bit of like, he does chill. Like he's quiet. He's reserved.
Right.
Like he'll take his time. But then when he goes in or when he starts, like what did he say? I said it on the last podcast where he made a comment about you, and I go like that was like a perfect dig, like the most articulate, nicest dig ever. Yeah, man, I'd love to have him back and talk about that stuff. But I will say this, and I talked to him in the punchline, which I thought was great. That's why I was so excited about having a moment, having him on the podcast. But his creative process, his dedication, like the amount of work that he puts into his jokes, right? I mean, if just imagine how much, not even how much further along we'd be, but how much further along your content, you know what I mean, your material would be if everything that you looked at, you kept going and you just kept digging and mining, right? Because like you
Right, like
said
I
earlier,
feel like well, he's on the road a lot now too, and I feel like when that's happening, that's when you could really work. Like, because I remember I'll do the punch, and you do like a Wednesday or Thursday, and then by Saturday you have all dialed in some jokes.
oh, absolutely,
And it's like,
absolutely.
man, imagine if you're doing that constantly, you could get that kind of work, and
Oh
then you
man,
could really dial it in tight.
dude, I loved like being on the road, just wherever, out of town, staying in a hotel, and all I had to focus on was comedy. Like
Right,
I
right,
got the
because you're
shows.
lonely in the hotel, so you just got to get grub, and then you go back to the room and you can write and whatever.
See, this is where Sal and I differ. Because Sal just said, you're lonely in the hotel. Lonely doesn't enter it's not even in my hemisphere of thoughts. Like, because seriously, man, when I'm in the hotel and it's just me, like I'm never alone. I'm always with myself. You know what I mean? In a certain way. So or never lonely because I'm always with myself in a certain way. But yeah, when I'm in that space, man, I swear to you, it's like it's a whole routine, man. It's like I get up, I stretch, I put the show on from the previous night, I listen to it, I'll sit down, I'll write, I
I
come up
hate
with
that.
different
Don't you hate
punchlines.
listening to yourself?
No, I love it. I love it because
I can see that.
yeah, I do. I love it because then I go, oh man, because you know how it is. You're sitting there listening to yourself and you go, dang, I stepped on that punchline, or I should have waited a little bit longer, given another beat in between saying it, or I was talking while they
Yeah.
were
So
still laughing.
how do you love listening to yourself fuck up?
Because then I get to learn from the correction. I mean, I get to learn from my mistake. Like that's dude. Okay, so this is good. This is good because this is the difference between the athletes who just play the game and don't
Well,
watch video.
I mean, I understand like watching it and working it. I'm just don't understand it's enjoyable listen. And me, it's just kind of like, I don't know, when you listen to yourself and it's not good, you're like, ugh.
See, I look at that as you listen to yourself and it's not good, and you go, all right, I see where I can improve,
Well,
where I
that's
can get
when you
better.
see where the moment is where you can make it better. That's cool. But
Yeah.
sometimes you don't. You're just like, I don't
Well,
know.
and that's where the Kellen work ethic part comes in of like, all right, well, what do I got to do? If I
Right.
either, because it's one of those things where it's like this joke is either working or it's not working, right?
Right.
And so if it's not working and it continues to not work, then it's like, yo, I just got to let this thing go.
Well, the problem is when it half works.
So then, okay,
It
no,
almost
so
always half works. And
all
then
right,
you're
so
like, well, does it gonna go all the way, or are we gonna lay you off?
okay, so that's the thing. That's where the work comes in. Because if half of it works, that means that the other half just needs some work. So then that's where
Right.
I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. And either you figure it out or you shelf it and then come back to it later. Because you're like, man, maybe I'm not in the right space to figure this joke out right now. So I like it. So I'm just gonna set it aside. I'll do something else instead. And then eventually you work it back in, or you come back, you revisit it. But yeah, man, I always look at it like, it's like looking at, I'm telling you, man, it's like looking at,
worry you get that number one pick, right? And then you think this is the joke. It's half funny. Then you get it to full funny and it still blows up in your face like Jamarcus Russell or something. It's just not, it's, you spend all that time on it and you're like, you bastard, you wasted my time.
Oh my God, dude, you are so funny. Dude, we are definitely the yin to the yang of each other, right? Because I feel like you look at the number one pick and he's a bust, and you're like, well, there goes the franchise. Right?
No, I'm not throwing. It's just that one.
Like, exactly. It's just that one. It's just that one. It's like, all right, you win some, you lose some. That's just how it is, man.
But no, there are some that would take 6 months to perfectly construct, or 4 months, and usually the ones that you talk about the darkest stuff, for me at least, and then when they work, then it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Right. And then you're proud of it. You tell people like, yo, that joke took 4 months, man. Just letting you know.
I don't think I've ever told somebody how long it took for me to refine.
Oh hell, I have a Star Wars Luke Skywalker joke, and it took me like 4 or 6 months, man, because I'm comparing him to Osama bin Laden. So that was like,
Oh yeah.
And I think bin Laden was already dead at that time, but
exactly.
Still.
So this is what I was about to say. I'm like, for a lot of comics, they're like, wait, you did a joke for 6 months? What are you, crazy? It's like, yo, you got to turn the material over. You got to flip it. I mean, look. If you and I both, if our full-time jobs were being full-time comedians on the road, honing the craft, night in and night out, then the jokes, you'd be dialed in. The jokes would just hit quicker. But when you're trying to make a living and you're trying to do some other stuff and you got a life and you're trying to balance out stuff.
Yeah, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a work in progress. But I always like listening to it, because when I listen to it, I go, all right, that works, or that doesn't work. Or I take out the sections that do work. I take out the sections that don't work, and maybe even rearrange stuff. Because like, that's the only way we're going to grow, right? That's the only way you grow, is that you have to be able to like critique yourself. My issue is that I don't like watching myself. When I watch myself,
that's not fun either.
Yeah, when I watch myself, I don't like watching myself, but when I do watch, I go, all right, cool, I got to do this, I got to do that, and it helps out. But I was gonna say my biggest thing is that I'm probably my toughest critic when it comes to submitting for stuff, right? Like I said this way early in like episode 2 or 3 or something, that a lot of things came my way because you were like, dude, just do the thing, just do it. Because I get all in my head and I start thinking, I'm like, well, that joke doesn't hit, or this one. You're like, it doesn't matter. Just
right. You want it too perfect, and it just holds you back.
Exactly. And so that's been my issue, is that even when I played hoops, I gave myself a very small margin of error, right? To the point that sometimes, not that no one else ever took me out of my game more than me. Right. From the sense of like, come on, Reg, yo, that's a 2-foot shot. You got to make those. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes they just
don't. Would you be doing that on the court, like yelling at yourself on the court when you're running down?
No, I wasn't like
hitting yourself in the head like Rain Man, like stupid Reggie.
No, there's no way. I'm telling you right now, the kid who runs down the store hitting himself in the head because he missed a shot doesn't play. Coach is like, yeah, come over. You can have a seat with me. Sit over here and do all that, because in the game is too fast for you to be sitting there talking to yourself about the previous play. It's like, yo, get your ass back on defense, man. Like, what are you doing? You go stand down there and talk to yourself for 2 minutes while the game is going on? No, it's just sometimes I would get hard on myself. I was pretty hard on myself in some regards, but not hard enough. I was still able to play on a high level consistently. You know what I mean? So, but I would, looking back.
You really just have to forget it, like have like they say, like, what is it, amnesia or whatever for a quarterback? You just got to forget the last play. That was a mistake.
Absolutely. You have to, because you can't. Think about it. What's the point? It's over.
Well, you can't go back and change it. This next time you go down the court and you're about to shoot, doesn't that kind of hit you in the head for a second? Like, hey, you missed your last one.
No. It only sleeps in your head after you missed. If you miss like 3 or 4 chip ins, like easy little things, rebound putbacks, turnaround jumper, right hook over the shoulder, you know what I mean? Something that you've done a lot and done well, and you miss like 3 or 4, then there's a little part of you like, the hell's going, like, what is up? What is up? right? Like, and then you just have to chalk it up to it's one of those days. And then you go into halftime, you take a deep breath, and then your teammates rally around you like, nah, man, just keep shooting. You got this, man. And then you have to just trust the process, like trust the work. Then
There's no one in the locker room going, come on, stupid Reg, big shot.
Fuck no. And let me say this right. No, okay.
There's
no
never
way.
any drama in the locker room ever.
Yeah, dude.
In 3 or 4 seasons or 3 seasons, y'all did.
If there's drama, there's no drama like that. Right? Seriously, you can't.
I guess
you cannot compare.
At the professional level, maybe that could happen more.
Yeah, on the professional level, because guys are getting paid and they're trying to hit bonuses and trying to get shot attempts and trying to make, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going into it. But on the collegiate level, hey man, yo, we in this together. It's already an uphill battle. We got to compete against the team in the other locker room. I don't need to be competing against my teammates, right? Like,
right.
It's just you don't do that, right? Now it may be, if anything, there may be a moment of like after the game, like, what the fuck? This dude kept shooting that broke ass shot, right? But you don't say that, right? Because that's if the guy's shooting you out the game. But that's only if the coach lets him stay in the game after missing 10 in a row. It's like, yo, you got to sit him down at some point. Like, that's just common sense, right?
Is there any of those, like, remember the Titans moments where there was race issues, you know, and then you probably had like the one heavyset white guy who knew all like the Motown songs and hung out with you guys? Was that?
Come on, it's a kumbaya moment. Kumbaya, all come together. The white guy brings everybody together. So it's basically the white savior movie, right?
Oh, right.
The white savior.
Well,
hey.
no.
Oh wait, can you hear that? You hear the siren?
Yeah, dude. Is the fuzz going off?
Yeah, it's outside. But yeah, what is it? The white savior moment where it's like, you know, the black guy and the white guy are at odds, and then the big white guy shows up and he's like, "Come on, guys, let's all be
you wanna
together.
leave." Yeah.
You know you want to leave, and all of a sudden everyone
I refuse to let you go.
He hugs the white guy, and he hugs the black guy. Right?
Yeah. So is that going on a lot over there at St. Mary's?
No, hell no. I'm gonna tell you right now, at St. Mary's, the only race issues we had was with a black head coach that treated the white players better than he treated the black players, and I put that shit out. I want that shit to be like documented on the podcast for life. Ernie motherfucking Kent, and he and I are cool now. We are. We're cool. We're decent. We're decent, but at this point, as a grown ass man who has the ability to look back and understand what was going on and being able to get some distance, having some distance from it, it's like, yo, man, this dude was not fair, and that was the biggest issue that we had. Was he allowed some players to play through their mistakes, and he didn't allow other players to play through theirs. And the thing is that he gave the white players a lot more room to make mistakes than he did the black players. It's as simple as that. I mean, shit, if you look at the team.
All your teammates think that too? If I talk to AJ or Mahershala
Mockley. If Moki was still here, Moki would say the same thing. Even the white guys on the team was like, yo, man, yeah, the shit was fucked up. Yeah, like I could come down, throw the ball out of bounds, and he'd be like, come on, get it together, right? Whereas another player come down who's darker, my complexion or African-American, they come down and make the same play, throw the ball out of bounds. All you hear is, hey, man, I got you. God damn, I can't even make up for my mistake.
I just pulls you right there. Huh?
Oh, dude, he had a very short leash. That's some self-hate shit. That's a whole nother conversation about, like, this dude grew up in Chicago. He was an All-American coming out of high school, went to Oregon. And at that time, Oregon is white now. If you think Oregon is white now, in the 50s and 60s or whatever it was, that shit was super white, right? Like in the 60s. So for a black dude from Chicago to go to Oregon, that should tell you a lot right there.
Right.
And he just, you know, he had some stuff, man. He had his own personal issues. And it was just hard for us. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. It was difficult. But all the black players, yeah, we all felt like, yo, this dude, like, yo, he got some internal prejudice, right? Like against people that look like him. Like, yo, figure your shit out.
It was annoying going to a Catholic school, dude. I just remember doing a gig there, and they had all these McCain Palin stickers up, and it sucked.
At St. Mary's?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, man. 2008, dude. I was doing a show there.
Wait, on the way up there, not on campus.
No, on campus in the cafeteria. We did it in the cafeteria, dude. Yeah, there's like the cafeteria in the back, and then there's a bigger room where people eat, and there was like
to
a
the
little
side.
area. Yeah, and then we
we
performed.
were on that show together though, right?
No, you weren't on it. It was like I forget who was on it. I was headlining it. Richie Stimbra put it together, and what fucked with me is like they're like, you got to be clean right before, and it's like, clean, dude, and I was like, and I'm pretty decent, but I once in a while I like to cuss and talk about certain things, and so I was messing with me, and then like the person before me was swearing a little here and there, and I'm like, well, what the fuck's the deal here? And then like I just went up there. It was not fun at all. I hated it. And people are going to get food and coming and sitting down. It's terrible, dude.
Well,
and
college gigs are like that. They suck. College gigs
dude,
suck.
it was bad. And then the second I was done, I went right to the car. I'm like, let's fucking go, because I was driving all too. I was like, let's go. Get my money. Get the fuck out of here.
That's funny.
School. I don't know how Reg did
it. Well, think about it. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. When I was the St. Mary's, the black students only made up 3% of the population of the student body. 3%, right? So
and
it wasn't
a whole
lot
of
us.
Shit.
No, we only had. I only remember one incident, and I mentioned this earlier.
Because you're too big, and you're a big athlete, dude.
Well, yeah, we're basketball players. It's Division I, right? NC2As. You're in the West Coast Conference. And as an athlete, you're a big person on campus to some degree. The only pushback that I ever got was, and I mentioned this before about the guy who was dating this girl that I knew on the soccer team, and she had made a comment about what he said. But outside of that, that was that incident. And understanding that our coach at the time had some biases. That was probably it. Outside of that, I mean, you get little stuff here and there. Most of it was just ignorance, in the sense of like you had a lot of St. Mary's is it's a private Catholic liberal arts school. So it costs a lot of money to go there. Now, I was on scholarship, me and my friends. But for the other people who are paying to go there, to be able to afford that institution, your parents have to make you come from a certain.
Okay, so you're not having some mullet rednecks. Get off the court.
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't have any of that. But what you do have is you just have these people who are like, I didn't grow up around any black people, so all I know is what I saw on TV. I just assumed that everybody was like on Cops. You go, or Ricky Lake, or at that time Sally Jesse Raphael, or Geraldo, or even the people who showed, you know what I mean? Like their perspective on black people was based off what they saw on television. If you go off what you see on TV,
fear in them, probably.
They didn't have, I'm not going to say fear as much as like some, just a complete misunderstanding, right? Like whatever stereotype existed, they just assumed that, oh, well, all black people do this, right? Right. You guys this. It's like, no, we're not a monolithic society, right?
I remember when I first worked at the ballpark, like the first time I was really young. So the first year, like I was like 18, and I never knew any, and I had like a couple black kids in my school, but they were adopted by white people. So when I was working on the ballpark, and I was definitely like at first, like, I don't know, maybe it was a little more of a wall up, especially when guys were giving me shit for being Italian. And what do you know about my boy who got fucked up in Little Italy? And some of these guys were straight up, like a lot of these guys dealt drugs on the side. These guys had guns and shit. Like this was like these guys, a lot of these guys lived in the projects and shit. But then over time, like the certain guys, well, I mean, some guys are just shady and you just didn't get to be that cool with, but other guys you got to know are way fucking cool, and there's just the situation people were in. But I do remember like the first time, because all you hear is from like racist family members or from news and stuff. So you're definitely, when you're first thrown into it, and then
absolutely,
yeah,
those are your only influences, right? That's your only information. So then, yeah, but I never encountered any, even dude, look, I grew up in Alabama. And I never encountered anything directly. I mean,
even in Alabama, but you always said though, it's because like you mainly hung out with black people because it was segregated a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I hung out with black people in my personal life at home, right? My neighborhood was all black, but the schools that I went to were always integrated, except for middle school. I went to elementary school, which had everybody, and then I went to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school, where it's a Catholic private all black middle school. And then I went to high school, and my high school was integrated. Man, my high school had Black, white, Asian, Latin, Middle Eastern, like a little bit of everything. So in high school,
problems at the integrated schools.
No. And the best part for me was that the elementary school that I went to was almost like a direct pipeline to the high school I went to. So everybody that I went to middle school with, for the most part, we all ended up in the same high school together.
Oh, funny.
Right. So it was great seeing friends that I hadn't seen for a while.
See, that didn't happen to me. I went from like a Catholic school to a public high school where nobody knew me.
Oh, wow.
They're like, who's this motherfucker?
Dang. I showed up and I saw people I hadn't seen. It was like a damn elementary school reunion. First day of high school. Like, hey, what's up?
I remember my freshman year, man. I went like I had lunch was the worst, and I think my lunch period, I want to say it was like third period or something. So like you didn't have time.
You were sitting by yourself?
Oh no, well, at first, but then the freaks joined me. So like I remember this one dude, nobody wanted to sit next to this guy. His name was Fritz, was his last name, but they said he had like mold on his neck, like green mold, and he was dirty. He didn't really wash his hair. So that kid was at the lunch table with me, and then and then this other guy I know, he was like a troublemaker. His name was Dan Boder or some shit, and that dude one time wiped a booger on me, dude.
Oh, we got to fight. We got to fight.
I like threw something at him maybe, but I was pissed.
Dude, we got to fight. You have to fight. You have to fight. I'm sorry. No, man, I'm just joking. I understand you were joking.
I mean, he was bigger than me though.
I do not give a fuck. We gotta fight, bro. Because what's next? If you are willing to wipe a booger on me, are you out your motherfucking mind? Listen, what's next? You gonna come up and pee on me? You just gonna come pee? If a dude wipe a booger on you and you don't do anything, he's gonna come up and pee on you. That's next. And if you don't do anything, then he's gonna come in. He's gonna fling your shit at you like a monkey.
He was such a pain in the ass. This dude was such a pain in the ass. And then like we were in a science class together, and there was this other kid who was a fuck up who would sit next to him. And they would like fuck around and shit. Well, then the teacher separated and made the one guy sit next to me, right? But that guy was kind of he started like learning more sitting next to me, you know, I was smart, and we were
because he wasn't being distracted.
Right. Right. So the guy, the booger wiper behind us, like he did something to this guy. Like you're right, this is how I should have handled, but this, you know, I didn't know any better freshman year. So this guy. Because these kids, you could tell, were tough in middle school too. Like they knew each other back in junior high.
Okay.
And I forget what the guy did. He like threw something on him or got something on him or hit him with something. And the guy who's sitting next to me turns around and goes, he's like, after this class, I'm punching you in the face. He's like, what? He's like, come on, man. No, we're cool. He's like, no, man. After this class, I'm punching you in the face. So
really? And so
then,
did he?
At the end of class, we all like line up as the bell's about to ring, and we're online talking. They're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. And he just grabs him and just punches him right in the face. And it's so fast in the class. And like the teacher didn't even see it. It was like Spider-Man shit. And the guy just sit there and he was like, oh, all right. And he's like, yeah, there. That was it. Like they didn't do anything.
Where the fuck did you go to school? Where did you go to school, dude? Oh my goodness.
North Olmsted
This sounds like
baby.
some Dangerous Mind shit, right? This sounds like I feel like this is the school where the teacher has to intervene. The kids are fighting in the classroom, and you know they all come together and sing a song, right?
There was some. It is funny. There was a couple guys. Like there was another guy. Like guys who would like be your friends, but they were like bigger than you, so they'd push you around a lot of times in high school. Like I remember sophomore year, I had lunch with this guy. He was a big dude, but he didn't play football or anything. He was just a big dude. But like, you know, I hung out with the stoner kids or whatever, so we were hanging out. And this guy, we're cool at lunch, but then he thought it'd be funny. Like after like every seventh period, he would just slam me into my locker, right? And I wanted to see him coming because I'm in the hall and I'm this and then boom, and this dude's like fucking 250 pounds, and I was small. I'm like 160 pounds wet, right?
God,
so this dude's pushing me around. So one day I'll never forget this because I played football in junior high, right, at the Catholic school. But then I didn't do any after that. Well, a couple guys went from, we had like two big guys on our team. they both went to the high school team and started, right?
Okay.
So one day, this dude, I'm up against my locker, boom, hits me again. I'm like, motherfucker. And I look at him, and then this whole huge body of his goes slamming into the locker next to me. And I was like, what? And I turned to look, and one of the guys I used to play football with shoved him into the locker after seeing him do that to me. And then he's like, oh, who the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, how about that, buddy? He never pushed me again.
Nice. He came to your rescue. I appreciate that. You should.
That was respect. But now he's like a fucking trumper. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, you saw that. He was laying the groundwork then, right? The foundation was laid. Okay. Yo, man. Look, that sounds like bully shit. I never got bullied, man. I think a part of being an athlete probably helped a little bit.
Didn't you when you were like in middle school, and that's why you started getting big?
Well, I didn't get bullied in middle school. I got I mean, we used to tease a lot. We all crack jokes on each other, right? But I always got teased about my complexion being too dark.
Being dark.
Right. But nobody
would
was ever
say.
No, it was, it was just like I was the blackest thing ever, and I was dark as midnight, and I was, dang, Red, if we turn the lights off, we can't see you. And it was just all this just whatever, right, about my complexion. But no one would ever challenge me physically. Like that was not an option for anybody in my class, except for I had one friend. My friend Tony was he was a big dude, but he was shorter than I was. But I was probably equally as strong as him. Like in middle school, I mean, even when I was in sixth grade, I remember seventh graders and eighth graders being like, "Damn, Red, you strong as hell," right? Because I got my first weight set in Christmas of my sixth grade year, right? And a part of me getting the weight set wasn't about being bullied. It was because it was about some other shit. It was way deeper, but it was because the girls seemed to like the light-skinned boys more, right? I felt like they got more attention, and I was like, well, I can't change this shit, right? I'm not gonna do a Michael Jackson, right? I don't have vitiligo and shit. So I was like, so what I got to do is there's one thing that seems to be universal, no matter who you are, that people like, and that's having a nice body. Having a nice body. If you are athletic and you are fit, right? The chest, the shoulders, the arms, the legs, the abs, the quad, whatever. If that shit is in order, it just seemed like girls would be like, all right, well, yeah, maybe he's dark, but he's fine, or he's cute, or he's got big muscles or whatever. And then I learned how to be funny, right? I figured out.
Right.
Yeah.
At that time,
I started to be funny. I was a little funny in elementary school, but middle school is where I really started to make people laugh, or being able to make people laugh. But I was able to make people laugh like by acting out stuff, because I started watching comedy a lot. Right. Like it's like I got HBO and it was like One Night Stand. And so all of a sudden just watching all that comedy, you just pick up timing and delivery and you know what I mean? Like you not even consciously thinking of it as a class, but it was like watching so much of it, I just kind of learned. And then before you know it, you're in the classroom or in the cafeteria, you say something and then boom, boom, you hit it quick, or you're reciting some other jokes and you get the timing down and then people start laughing and it's like, oh. So it kind of helped me.
It's funny. I didn't really until high school, really, but it was like I was getting picked on by these guys a lot who were like friends of mine, but just picking on me anyway. And
we got to redefine.
And that's
friends.
where I started. That's where I started getting the comedy though, because then I was like, well, if I can make these fuckers laugh, they won't pick on me as much. Like the guy, I got a new hoodie, Reg. You like this new hoodie? My
Cooper
buddy,
Wrestling. Oh, okay, nice.
They got the Jaguars logo, but his kid he was a wrestler and he just finished. So they sent me this hoodie. But that guy used to pick on me. We used to ball. We used to get into it because like we lived in the neighborhood. And I remember one time we'd play sports together all the time, just like we played baseball, football, basketball, and I was terrible. I didn't know how to play basketball for shit. I was tall, but I didn't know how to play yet. Like I remember going for an open runway layup, and I just banked the shit off the backboard. It goes all the way to half court. Like I had no idea how soft to hit it off the backboard.
No finesse.
Just launching it up there.
Oh my god.
So, but I remember one time we were playing baseball and I fucked up and I struck out or something or popped out. And then like the guys on my team got all pissed and they picked me up and threw me over the fence.
What? Dude,
fucking assholes, dude.
I feel bad for you, bro, because that's terrible.
Well, I ended up stealing his girlfriend, so I got back at
him. Oh, there you go. There you go. I won that one. What's funny is though, what's messed up is that striking out or hitting a pop fly is a part of the game. Right?
Not when it was the bottom of the ninth. It was like so you got it easy. Your teammates were like, that's all right, but you didn't get thrown over
yeah.
no
I mean,
fences.
no, hell no. There's no way. There's no way. Right. And
Stuff
dude,
out in those parks, Reggie. You're in those organized sports, and now, man, out in the streets, the parks.
yeah, damn that. I was always, I mean, in my neighborhood, there's a ton of kids in my neighborhood growing up. So we always played football in the street or played football in my yard, in my neighbor's yard, like long ways or whatever. I wouldn't say I got bullied a little bit as a kid by my next door neighbor, Jack. And he was a nice kid, but he just had a couple moments of just doing teenager stuff where he could do something to a little kid and get away with it. Like one time he put a firecracker in my sock and set it on fire. And
Damn.
so I ended up having a big burn mark on the back of my leg and it blew a hole in my sock. And
did you tell your mom?
Of course I had to, because
did she go confront him?
I don't know what happened in that situation. I might not even told her. I think I just dealt with it as a kid, right? So that was one. And then another time he did this. He shot me in the back with a BB gun. I remember I was standing there and just
in the back.
In the back. I was like, oh, luckily I had a coat on, so it didn't penetrate, but it just stung. So yeah, that was the only two incidents I could think of as far as like bullying as a kid. But even then, he apologized and he was sorry, and it never turned into anything else, right? But I could have easily, and maybe I internalized some of that stuff because that's why I liked the Hulk growing up, was just this idea of this guy who's trying everything in his power to just be nice and to get along with others, and they just keep pushing you, and then you finally just rage out and destroy some shit. Because I thought I could have, once I got a little bit bigger, once I got a little bit older, and I started to feel out like I'm taller than Jack, I'm bigger than Jack, I'm stronger than Jack. He's made way more money than I have. He went into tech and he worked at Mac. He used to work at Microsoft before Microsoft became Microsoft. So as Microsoft came about, he was on the foundation. So he made tons of money, but physically, and he went to the army too. He went to the army, but physically, I probably could have, if I was mad about those things, I'll just let it go. Right. I didn't even think anything about it. I'm like, whatever. So I've never had any like revenge plots, and I never had anybody throw me over fences or anything like that, or push me into my locker. I remember one time, I think I told you this story, but I had one time where I remember where people were starting to knock people's books out their hands in the hallway.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about that the other day. It was happening to me, but go ahead.
So I'm walking down the hall and somebody knocks the books out of my hands. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I turned around, and the person I thought did it, I just grabbed him. I was like, boom, I threw him against all. Hey man, I told you I ain't playing that shit. And I say to the whole hallway, everybody in the hallway, I go, yo, I ain't playing them games. Like I just straight up yelled that shit. Everybody's like, all right, man, damn.
See, man, that's not fair. You're all big, so you can get away with that. I remember I had like a class, and I was going to a class, and this older classman, I don't know, because I was like a freshman or sophomore, just booked the shit out of me, right, in the hall. Right. And this was like later in the season, in the year. So I was like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? So then the next time I was like, well, I'm going to take my glasses off. He won't recognize me. So I'm going down, it's all blurry. Then boom, my books get down again. And then I end up having to go a different way to class. I had to go around the long hall.
These motherfuckers had you shook like that. Dude, did you really think that you try to do a Clark Kent? You try to do a Clark Kent? Like, bro, it's funny to me that no one recognizes Superman because he puts glasses on, right? He's like, dun, dun, dun. Like, hold up. Hi. Well, hello, everyone. It's like, dude.
Yeah, that shit don't work. People will recognize you in a second. DC Comics lied to me. I learned that night. I'll say this.
You took your glasses. And I'm so sorry your life was so rough at that point.
Here's a fun one. I remember, I don't know, dude. It was wacky, dude. I remember this kid one time, like I don't even know. Some kid pushed me in the hall or was talking shit to me. And like a Palestinian kid. So we had a lot of Palestinian kids in our school, and they were in just like one hallway. And my kid who lived across the street from me, he was Palestinian. So we were like kind of friends, but I wasn't friends with anyone else in that group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't admit we were friends. He hung out with that group in school.
Oh man, he wouldn't admit it. That sucks.
Oh well, no, yeah,
we
just kept a distance, and I want to be in their party. So, but I remember one of those guys, he was an asshole, and he like I don't know, he accidentally pushed me or whatever. And I was like, hey man, and we're like this. And then this other kid that I knew, he was like, yeah, man, keep walking. I'm like, what the fuck did you say? I was like, and I don't know, dude. I was just mad. I wanted to finally stick up to myself. And I knew my good friend always hated this kid and always had this kid scared of him. So I'm like, I have an ally. My friend has this guy shook. So I was at lunch and I was like, that guy fucked with me today. I got to go say something, and I'm with these guys and they're like, what are you going to do, man? I'm like, I'm just going to go tell him. And I was reading Batman comics, Bane, and I love Bane, dude.
My goodness.
And Bane, and when he first comes out, he's like, he stalks the Batman, and then he's like, you will know my name one day and you will scream it. Like he fucking tells Batman. And then before he breaks his back in the comics, he's screaming his name. So I went up to this guy's table at lunch, dude. This was balls. Go up to him like, fuck's your problem? Yelling at me in the hallway. He's like, what? He's like,
he didn't even think about it.
He goes, what? He's like, I don't even know who you are. And I was like, oh, you'll know my name and you'll scream it.
You did not say that. Please tell me. Oh my God.
Man, just like Bane. So then I went back and sat down, right? And then my buddy, he like knew him. And he's like, well, let's go looking for him Friday night. Because this is like a Friday. So we go looking for him at this little pool hall place where all the high schoolers hung out. He wasn't there, but someone who else sat at that table was there. Some girl. My buddy went and talked to her because he knew her. He's like, yeah, where is him? We're looking for him. All right, will you let me know?
Oh my God. What the hell?
And then the word got back to him. We were looking for him. Then he kind of avoided me after that. But
okay. Dude, this is so interesting because I get to hear, like, talking to you about your experience and my experience.
Oh, it's so like, different.
It's so different. It's almost like I wasn't a bully. I was never a bully. I hung out with the smokers. I hung out with the outcasts. I hung out with the jocks. I hung out with the nerds. I hung out with everybody. I was cool with everybody. And I never had no beef with nobody except for this one kid who used to try to, whatever. But it was never really anything serious, right? Like I never felt threatened at all. But I would love to talk to, like, have a perspective of like the person who was the bully and the person who's being bullied, right? Because listening to your stories, I mean, it's interesting to me to hear about how reading the comic books and like almost fantasizing or living vicariously through somebody else's storyline. To say to somebody,
beat all these dudes' asses. There's just so many angry dudes. Yeah,
you will know my name and you will say it. I'd be like, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Dude, I never had any moments like that. There's a lot
of
man. I feel bad that you got picked on so much, though. It sucks.
Well, it's over 4 years of high school, but
4 years of getting picked on, dude. I swear to you, look, man. I used to have a superhero complex of like wanting to save people. So
yeah, like being Batman. My buddy and I would think about, man, if only we had a grappling hook.
That's funny. That's so funny. I never once thought about having a grappling hook or a utility belt or having a mask and being able to say, I'm Batman, right? Like I never thought about any of that shit. What I did was
fun.
What I did was this. I distinctly remember seeing some kid like kind of getting pushed around in the bathroom one time. And I was like, yo, man, leave that dude alone, man. He was like, man, whatever, Red. I was like, yo, man, do that shit to me. I was like, stop picking and choosing. Do it to me.
You, hero. That's right. Cool.
But it was just that thing of like, yo, why you're obviously you're picking on people that you think you can get away with the shit with, right? I'm like, yo, do it to me, right? I'm here. You doing it to people, do it to me. It was like, whatever, man. You playing.
And usually it's really just those first 2 years, like freshman, sophomore, because then once you're a junior, senior, then there's all the younger kids come in and those older dickheads got pushed out and now you're the older ones.
Right.
But yeah, like it's funny, man. There's just some when you first get into school, there's some
but like I said, for me, when I started high school, it was like a damn near an elementary school reunion. And coming from my middle school, I had a lot of kids from my middle school that ended up going to the same high school. So I knew people come on, me and my boy Billy, we have our last names begin with the same letter, S. So we were in homeroom together all 4 years of high school. So we become best friends in 6th grade. We go all through middle school, and then we're 4 years of playing basketball together in the same homeroom. You know what I mean? So that's like 7 years straight of like, when he and I showed up on campus, that first day of class, we were like, we showed up we show up in homeroom and then we have similar classes. Dude, it literally felt like I didn't feel like I was necessarily in high school, right? Like it was like I knew people. So I was never at the cafeteria, knowing people on the basketball team, I always had somebody to sit with. And then, we all grab like I distinctly remember almost like the first or second day of high school, my cafeteria table was full of people that I went to middle school with and people I went to elementary school with.
Yeah, but damn family reunion over there.
Yo,
I'm struggling with the moldy neck guy.
That's it's funny, man. Now saying that out loud, I'm kind of like this conduit between a lot of my friends where I talk to everyone and they don't ever talk to each other. So I'm kind of like this go-between, right? Mm-hmm. It just dawned on me that like that's what it was like in high school too, because I knew these people from elementary school and then I knew these people from middle school.
Oh, so you brought them together.
Well, it's just that I'm the person in the middle that they both know. Right. So it's easy to be like, I know Reg, I can go sit with Reg. Or elementary school, I know Reg, I can go sit with Reg. And then all of a sudden, so yeah, man, I'm sorry your experience was crazy like that. Yeah.
All right, dude, we've been talking about us a lot. So let's wrap this up with something. I mean, I was watching the show. I don't know if you want to talk about Pam and Tommy. It's been pretty fun to watch.
I haven't watched any of it. I haven't watched any of it. But hold on, we got two things because we had a whole thing to talk about. We're supposed to talk about your water bottle. Hey, folks,
I'm just
folks at home listening. Sal and I, before we got on the podcast, we sat here for like 10 minutes talking about what we were going to talk about, and we came up with ideas, and then we got on and didn't talk about it at all. So now at the end, we're going to rush through a couple of things we decided to talk about.
Here's the water bottle. Okay. Now here's the thing. I don't know why, but I gotta have water wherever you are in LA. It's dry as fuck. You got Jabba the Hutt mouth. Now, this bottle, I love,
what is Jabba the Hutt mouth?
Oh, it's all tongues, dry and white. Jabba no bother.
We'll come back to that. Are you watching Boba Fett or have you seen Boba Fett?
Finished it, baby.
I didn't finish it yet, but go ahead. Okay, water bottle, Jabba the Hutt mouth.
We'll talk about Boba Fett sometime. Oh, that's another thing we got to talk about with Kellen. He's a big Star Wars fan. And I didn't know that, and we were talking about it, and he and I see eye to eye on it all. It was really cool.
What's there to see?
Podcast about this. Well, this is what you think. How do you feel about The Last Jedi when you come into the new trilogy? And some people are like, Last Jedi is so great, how they did everything not like Star Wars, and they made Princess Leia like Mary Poppins and she could fly and all that shit. Those people are goddamn idiots, Reg. The way it is that guy Rian Johnson fucked it up, and J.J. Abrams should have just done the whole trilogy himself. Then it's his voice, his story. But he goes in, Rian Johnson changes it completely. Then J.J. Abrams, the next one, I enjoyed, but it's not, he's still trying to make up for what the guy did in the second one. So it's just very disjointed, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So Kellen and I saw that completely, because when you're a Star Wars fan, there's a certain style to a Star Wars film, especially the trilogies where they all fit and flow. And as much as people hated the prequels, at least they're all flow. It's George Lucas's vision. You know what I mean?
But you understand, for me, it's really just the Force and the dark side, the positive and the negative, and the balance therein, right? And that's really all it is. I mean, there's the stories about it and all the characters, and they're trying to come together and they fight against the Empire, and the rebels are small and they're big and they have all that resources and whatever the case may be. But it's really just, it's a story of light against dark, good versus evil, positive versus negative, and then trying to find a balance within that. But hold it though. Let's stick to your water bottle and Jabba the Hutt mouth in LA.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, you need water. So you see me always drinking these Gatorade bottles. But, sometimes after a while, dude, like you always open it and this and that. But I've discovered the smart water bottle because they have these little, all you do is flip it and then,
so
like a baby bottle now. I don't know if it's
up.
Because of the bottle or not.
Wait, can you show me how you do that again? So you have to flip the top?
Well, here's the problem. So
yeah,
usually,
I'm just saying, you just showed us how to drink water.
It flips like that. Well, look, the
it
motherfucker broke off. Now you got these sharp fucking things, so you can't line it back up to fit. Like it's a pain in the ass. It doesn't just fit. you're like, oh, how's it go on? Oh, and it's like the thinnest piece of plastic is supposed to hold the cap to the top. So now I could open it like this, but I damn near cut myself in the goddamn sharp plastic that ripped off. Or you could pop it off and suck the nipple, but then it's so hard to put the cap back on because it's damn plastic's broken off. So it's obsolete. I got to go to 7-Eleven and get a goddamn new water bottle because
oh my God, could you
broke ass plastic.
All right, two things. Stop drinking water out of plastic.
What?
And stop going to 7-Eleven. What the hell? What are you doing?
That's all it is in LA. That's all it is.
Are you 22?
It's on the corner. Where else do we get what? Just a
this
water.
Is what you do.
You're not allowed to get water there at 22. I'm not getting the goddamn wings that they sell at the.
This is what you do, right? You invest your money into a water filter.
Those things.
You get a good water filter. You get a good water filter that extrapolates all the bad stuff, keeps all the good stuff, and you fill it up with you fill it up with tap water. It takes out that.
I have all that. This is all tap water. I just reuse the bottle.
And then stop drinking out of plastic. Carcinogens.
Why?
Go get. I have. You know what? I said I was gonna do. I asked you to get it. You didn't want me to. Hold on. You can cut this part off if you want to. I'm gonna grab two things for you. I'll be right back.
Don't grab these water bottles. No, people liked when I made fun of you last time. I got some laughs. So here comes, why do you need two water bottles? You get one's like a gallon. Who the fuck is going to carry a gallon of water around? What are you, a camel? Damn dromedary. Those are the one hump camels. Here comes dromedary steel right now with his gallon of water. All right, buddy. So yeah, I got some good digs in on you. You see how, did you watch how it froze last week?
Yes, I saw your throat.
That was pretty funny. Your friend thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was
one way to get Reggie to shut up is let the Zoom freeze him out.
I know. I laughed, but when I saw it, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was in a different headspace because I was dealing with another friend and some nonsense like that. So when I heard it at the end, that dig, I was like, I laughed. I was like, this motherfucker. Right? Like I was upset, but I realized that it wasn't about you as much as about something else.
It was a good freeze on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Right.
And then you saw we got a comment on YouTube. One of your friends thought it was hilarious.
Like that last minute. Okay, so here we go. You ready? So you get the water filter and then
got it.
All right, you get the water filter and then you stop using plastic because of obviously you don't use
I'm not
plastic
putting it in the microwave or in the sun.
It doesn't matter. It still leaks into the water. Carcinogens. So you get yourself a reusable.
Number one, bottle. That's too heavy.
Nope.
And it's a pain in the ass to open, and the mouth is too big. Nope. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that one at all.
This is the Yeti. Hold up. This is the Yeti.
Yeah, no, I have one.
Hold up though. But look, check this out. Check this out. You can go here, right? And you still just have the spout, right? Or
the turning it opens too. I want to just flip it up.
And then you have this.
Nah, right? That's too much. That's too much. I don't want a thermos. Dude, I had that.
It's not a thermos. So it's a one
time. I like the flip.
And you're drinking out of plastic, dude. And then
give me one with the flip.
This is my big boy right here.
Yeah, that shit's ridiculous. You look like a camel with that, dude. Why do you need that much water, bro? Where are you going?
This is 64.
The Gobi. You going to the Gobi desert?
Ounces. Yeah, that's funny. 64 ounces drink tank. This joint is bananas, dude. I'm telling you. And the best part about these, they keep my water cold or hot for like 24, 30, 36 hours or something crazy. What I'm saying is use the water filter, get rid of the water bottle and just use a stainless steel so you don't get sick from drinking out of plastic, dude. Come on, you know this better than anybody. You're a science guy. I'm a science guy. I believe in science.
Hey now, what the fuck?
Well, I believe in science. Well, don't you believe that the plastic leaks into the water if it sits in there long enough?
In the sun? Yes. There's no.
And what about the environment? This is a reusable
well, that's true.
thing.
That's not recycle.
And what about the money you're spending? The money and time that you spend to go down to fucking 7-Eleven to get overpriced water in a bottle when you
do they have a flip one yet on one of those reusable ones? What do they got?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. They have tons of water bottles that have different lids. So go get you know what? I'll just get you one. How about I get you one and send it?
There you go. Get me one with a flip on it though. Okay. A little nip. I want it easy. So when I'm sleeping and I just got to lean over, grab it in my sleep in the dark, just pop it, drink. Shut it, boom. That's it.
Right. Okay,
No
we'll figure it
cat
out.
will
But
knock it over. There's more to it.
I get it, but just stop drinking out of plastic, okay? Just stop drinking out of plastic, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the water bottle situation for you. Okay, so that was one, and then two. The other thing that you want to talk about was what was the other thing?
Well, you haven't watched Pam and Tommy yet, but I highly recommend it. It's pretty funny. Seth Rogen's in it.
Okay.
And Nick Offerman, and they're very funny. There's a lot of the story I didn't know.
Okay.
And do you know much about that story?
About Tommy and Pam?
Yeah, like in the videotape.
No, I know they're on
their
a boat.
Sex tape.
Yeah, I know they're on a boat. They decided to record themselves doing the nasty, and that she has hepatitis C or whatever, or she had it.
No, but what happened then? What happened with the tape?
The tape went viral. What was viral at that point? How did it get out?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how the tape got out.
See, that's the big thing. Like, and a lot of us thought other things, and a lot of people thought they were reckless or whatever, but straight up stolen. Like the dude stole their entire safe.
Oh, someone stole their
that's
guy
the
on the
character
boat.
Seth Rogen plays.
Wait, the guy who videotaped? No, because I thought there was
they were by themselves.
It was just them
but
two.
Then they took that tape and then they put it in their safe.
And
they locked that safe, and this dude stole the whole safe.
And then how dumb are you to steal someone's safe and then take the contents of it and go public with it, which confirms that you stole it, right?
Well, it's funny. They the cops couldn't really find him, and then Tommy hired a private investigator, and they found out who he was within a day but here's the thing, he's a disgruntled
ex-employee
carpenter. He was a carpenter in the guy's house, and Tommy was a total dick to him and fucked him out of like $27,000 and wouldn't pay him.
So he's still, you can't steal. You got to go to court.
No, but that's what so that's how it started. He thought he was a dick to him, and so I ripped him off. And what it did, took his tools, and so he steals his safe. So it's great. You see from everybody's angle, and really Pamela Anderson gets the brunt of it though, because she has to deal with all the shit and she didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, Tommy, for Tommy it was like, everyone's like, yo, Tommy is home.
Cool.
Yeah, Tommy's this. And then Pamela Anderson, everyone was excited to see her Baywatch doing whatever. I mean, it sucked personally. Like all those sex tape situations.
I mean, that was the first one. So,
that was
before it basically was, before Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian.
Paris Hilton, that's right. She had hers. Kim Kardashian. Then the Hulk have one. The
Hulk?
The Hulk, he had a sex tape.
Who's the Hulk?
Bruce.
Hulk Hogan. Oh, yeah. I had a joke about it. Mick Foley brought me on stage and told me he was going to steal that Hogan joke because I opened for him, and I was like, well, I got to do my Hulk Hogan joke. And
remember the joke?
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, I watched Sex Tape, you guys. You don't have to with the Hulkster. I was like, it was crazy, man. Hogan, he started going limp, and then and the third time it stopped, and this little finger popped up, and it was like, nah, and then it ripped through the condom, and he leg dropped on her. Oh, dude, it was crazy.
That's funny.
People loved it though, and it was all like a wrestling crowd. And then Mick Foley went up, and he goes, "Yeah, come up here." He's like, I went back on stage. He's like, "I just want to tell you this, man to man, I'm stealing that Hogan joke."
Nice, that's funny. Hulk Hogan had a sex tape. Who else had a sex tape? I mean,
that was weird. Hulk Hogan's buddy was this like overweight fucking DJ in Florida. And it was his wife, and he let Hulk Hogan come over and bone his wife once in a while. And they filmed it. And it was weird. That's some weird ass shit, man.
That's some cuckold. That's a cuckold, right?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's called a cuckold. Guys that like to see their women being taken by another man, like sitting there watching. I know there's a pretty famous.
Why is it called that? What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's an English word, European word, cuckolding. But I know a guy who did that. This guy wanted to see his girlfriend. He wanted this guy to like bang his girlfriend, and he said he kept asking me. So I was like, I just did it. I go, you did it? He goes, yeah, man, I did it. And I was like, and so were you guys friends after that? He was like, yeah, we're cool. I was like, that's weird.
Watched him do it.
He asked this guy to do it, and the guy was like, he refused a couple times. Then finally he was like, all right, I'll do it. And he did it. And I think he only did them once, but he was like, yeah, the guy was in the room and watched him basically bang his girlfriend. I was like, yo, there's no way, like, why?
We got to have that guy in the podcast. Tell us his experience.
No, I can't do that. I can't
Why?
do that. Nah.
Is he all like married now?
No, he's not married, but he's done really well for himself. He's a pretty well-known dude. And for me to put that information out, like I'll never confirm who it is, right? But yeah, he's
that's weird.
He's not like world famous, super big, but he's definitely
he doesn't have 2 Oscars.
No, he does not. Oh, speaking of that dude, actually, I don't even know if I want to follow up that story with this guy. So
I'm having trouble with booking musicians at Diablo. Do you think Prince Ali would do a set for me? He gets a burrito.
No, he'll pass. He actually, it's funny. I talked to him this morning. We talked for a while, and right before I got off, I said, "Yo, man, let me get going because I got to go. I'm gonna go record the podcast with Sal." And he goes, "Yo, man, tell Sal." I said, "What's up?" I said, "I got you, bro." I said, the best part is I'll tell him on air that you said what's up. So,
well, what's up,
Mahershala Ali said, "What's up, Sal?"
What up, Hirsch? You want to come to?
No, you can't
Diablo,
say
Prince Ali.
Hirsch is. There's no more Hirsch.
Oh, that's only for you guys. Wait, what?
No, I don't call him Hirsch. Hirsch is over. There's no Herschel anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, how do you call him?
Ali or Mahershala?
You say his whole name?
I say Mahershala. I call him Mahershala.
Mahershala.
Yeah. So you can either go Mahershala.
So you only called him Hirsch in college because he was Hirsch.
That was his name in college, Herschel. His name is always, so his birth name has always been the same. His name is Mahershala Hajbaz Ali. His name is Mahershala Hajbaz. That's his first name, birth name. Mahershala Hajbaz.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his first birth name. So, but what he did was he cut the Mahershala Hajbaz down to Herschel in college. Right. And then when he converted, he just, his first name has always been his first name. He just dropped his last name, which was Gilmore, and picked up Ali.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was his whole name from birth, his first name.
Yeah. So some people call him Ali because that's who they know him as in the second chapter of his life or third chapter in his life. But then there are the people who knew him from before. They still try to call him Herschel. Now, anybody who calls him Herschel at this point they basically are dating themselves in the sense of like, oh yeah, I knew this guy back in elementary school, middle school, high school, college, right? But the people who know him now, industry people, like Oprah Winfrey is kind of like Mahershala Ali, because they know him as Ali. So I'm telling you to.
What was his original name when he did the credits and then he changed it? They shortened it to Mahershala Ali because it was longer. I remember like on the 4400.
Mahershala Hajbaz.
Oh, okay. That was the part he cut out. Okay.
Mahershala Hajbaz. And then obviously Ali. So then he shortened it. Some people just call him Ali. Right.
Okay.
And then for me, because I knew him for years as Herschel, and then now I know him as Ali, knowing of him as Ali, I just feel more comfortable calling him Mahershala.
Right.
Yeah, because we have another friend of ours that we play ball with in college named Ali. So it's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, when I think of Ali, I think of Ali Peak. So, so yeah, you can't, you can call him.
You don't have any nicknames for him?
Mahershala. That's it. Mahershala's a great name.
It is a great name. It flows off really well too. It's a cool name.
Who else in the world is named Mahershala?
Never. No, that's
exactly.
True. And that's cool. That was his birth name too.
Yes. Yeah. So he said, "What's up, man?"
Well, what's up, Mahershala? Salvatore here.
There you go. No, he knows you're Sal. You good. You still Sal. So don't worry about it.
Does he call you Reginald? Anyone call you Reginald?
Mostly people from
Alabama.
People from Alabama, or people from business people who get my name off of some government document. I get
like
these
it. It sounds like
time.
Royalty with that LD on the end.
Yes,
Reginald.
I can always tell when someone's like looked in some court records or court documents. They'll go, "Hi, Reginald. This is Sarah from Cash Offer. Hello, this message is for Reginald." And I go, "Yeah, you don't know me."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, when I got to California,
sign us out. Who you got for next week? What we got next week? Do you know? We'll figure it out.
Well, I'm thinking I want to reach out to Dan St. Paul.
I think you know it's funny. I was telling this. I listened to the old pod with what I did with Kellen, and there was this story I told about doing the San Francisco comedy competition, and Dan St. Paul was hosting it. And this comic almost like wanted to fight him because he didn't get the encore point. There was an encore point. So the competition had this thing. It was all on points. And you had to get the 1 point at the end is the encore point, where if the audience claps for 10 seconds and then the MC lets them know, okay, that's an extra point. And everybody, you need that point, because if you don't get it, it really fucks with you. And but then they're like, you can't give it to everybody. So then sometimes some people think they deserved it and they didn't get it, and it's drama. But yeah, so that's what I remember, Dan St. Paul.
The guy did not get the encore point and he wanted to fight about it.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know if Dan will remember any of that. It was a while ago, but
wow. I've always wondered, because I never did the San Francisco comedy competition. Right.
I did it twice.
Exactly. And I thought
third place, baby.
Nice.
Third
nice.
and 10th. But 10th, you still got paid.
Really?
Once you made the semis, you automatically got paid. So it starts with 30. And then if you make the top 10, you're in the semis, you automatically get paid. And then if you get the finals, you get even a bigger boost.
Okay. So that being the case, I remember you doing it twice, and then Avery's done it, some other people have done it. And it almost felt like it was some rite of passage, right, in San Francisco to be a part of the San Francisco comedy competition. But after doing Roosters and doing the improv competition, I was like, and even after being selected for the NBC Standing for Diversity thing, where it's like, you're 10 people, you're one of 10 people selected in the country to go down and do the showcase. I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Competitions suck, bro.
They suck. And
they're worse.
And I was like, yo, this idea of like driving to these podunk towns, and then
so ridiculous,
and hearing all the stories about the judges. The judge is like a waiter at the diner across the street.
Oh yeah, that's another problem.
Yo, it's just like, yo, why am I subjecting myself to being critiqued by someone who doesn't do comedy?
I had a guy judge me once who got knocked out in the first round, and then he was judging in the second round. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, this is total bullshit.
This dude is like, no one did well tonight.
Yeah, he was still bitter. I'm like,
it's like everyone sucked. He's like,
yeah, dude, no, man. It's
so it was like, the more I learned about this competition, and the more and more it kept dropping pegs for me, as far as like,
and it spread further and further away from San Francisco. There's only one show in San Francisco.
Exactly. And it's just, I remember hearing about stories, guys driving for hours to locations.
And one in Medford, Oregon. I missed that one though, because I had an acting gig, and I was like, well, I can't do that. I won't do that gig. And you were allowed to drop one. So that was my score to drop.
Wow.
And I still moved on. And I remember I was late to the semis, and Shay was in the thing with me, and they were all bitching that I got there right in time. And they're like, you shouldn't even be able to do this show. And I was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, damn, I'm here. Fuck that. I'm
here. I'm doing it. And then I placed, and I went on to the finals. And
see, there you go. I worked with the only two-time winner.
Yeah, that's not something you really want to brag about, but go ahead.
Yeah, of the San Francisco comedy competition, Mr. Don Friesen. Yeah. My man won the competition
twice,
and then was like, I'm going back, and then won it again.
The whole reason was money. It was good money at one time.
Yeah, he was funny too. Don is really funny. So, all right. I never did that, and I have no regrets about not doing it. Right? I have no regrets about not doing any triple runs, and I have no regrets about not doing the San Francisco comedy competition. So
there he is, Reggie. No regrets, still.
There you go.
I close this out.
All right, let's do it. I hope I don't freeze this time, because that would really.
Oh, you almost did. Oh, you did. Are you kidding me? He just said
I'm joking.
That would have been awesome. You held that well.
I did. I held it really well, to the point that you thought it was.
Yeah. Well, see, now you're moving. Your lips quivering because you're scared. You're scared that I could tell. It's a joke, now, Reggie. Yeah. I close this out. All right, Dr. Freeze.
Hey, no freeze this week. But to all the listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and we appreciate your patronage. Sal's gonna come up with a Venmo or Cash App.
Oh yeah, I still haven't done that. Cash
App. Joking. No, we love doing this, man, and we hope that you're enjoying it. Please, if you are, please subscribe, tell your friends, share. We'll be back next week, and we'll do it again. So that's Sal Kalani. I'm Reggie Steele, and this is Spitballin. Peace.
You like how I did your piece last week?